My family told me to stay out of sight during their anniversary party. So I booked a vacation, and when the event fell apart, they came begging me to return. Family treated me like garbage for years, while spoiling my materialistic sister and her wannabe husband. I quietly built a real estate empire, then systematically destroyed their fake lifestyle when they crossed the final line. The ending will blow your mind. All right, Reddit, buckle up because this is the story of how I went from family doormat to real estate mogul to nuclear revenge legend in about 18 months. Before you start calling this fake, I've got property deeds, bank statements, and a very expensive attorney who made this all legally bulletproof. I'm Adam, 28, and I've been the family scapegoat since birth. While everyone else was partying through college, I was studying finance and real estate, learning the markets, basically living and breathing property investment, while my family saw this as boring and antisocial. My sister Madison is everything I'm not. 25, blonde, Instagram obsessed with 35,000 followers who think she's some kind of lifestyle guru. Never worked a real day in her life. Her biggest accomplishment was marrying this finance wannabe named Marcus, who makes decent money, but acts like he owns Goldman Sachs. Picture the guy who wears expensive watches he can barely afford and leases luxury cars to impress people at Starbucks. Growing up in suburban Denver, Dad owned a struggling accounting firm and Mom sold insurance part-time. Solid middle class trying desperately to look upper class. They've been bankrolling Madison's lifestyle for years, paid for her dream wedding that cost more than most people's cars, her apartment deposits, car payments, basically everything while I've been financially independent since 19. Madison used to mock me constantly. Adam's playing with his boring spreadsheets again. When are you going to get a real job instead of buying ugly houses? Marcus makes more in bonuses than you make all year flipping dumps. Well, about that. 3 years ago, I started buying distressed properties in up-and-coming Denver neighborhoods. While everyone else was chasing trendy investments, I was quietly accumulating rental properties and fix and flip projects. Worked 16-hour days, lived in a basic apartment, drove a used Honda, basically looked broke while building an empire. Last month, I sold my portfolio to a major real estate investment firm for $8.2 million. Overnight, I went from family disappointment to multimillionaire. Did I announce this immediately? Not a chance. I kept quiet and watched them plan their big family Christmas gathering. Same routine every year. Madison gets treated like royalty, while I'm expected to smile and pretend her husband isn't a complete fraud. But this year was different. December 18th, I'm helping Mom with party prep, because somehow I'm still the free labor when I overhear Madison talking to Marcus in the living room. I honestly can't believe we have to pretend Adam's opinion matters, she's saying. He's such a loser. Lives in that crappy apartment, drives a Honda, probably makes like $50,000 buying broken houses. It's embarrassing having him around successful people. Marcus laughs. Your parents need to stop enabling him. He's almost 30 and still playing with Monopoly houses in real life. Then, Madison drops the line that sealed her fate. At least when Mom and Dad die, we won't have to split anything with Adam. He'll probably lose his share on some stupid investment anyway. Mom actually chuckles. Actually finds this amusing. That's when I realized I wasn't family to them. I was the handyman they kept around for free repairs and heavy lifting. I finished arranging their fancy appetizers, smiled, said goodnight, and went home to start planning something special. See, what they didn't know was that $8.2 million was just the beginning. I'd also been quietly building a property management company that was already generating serious monthly income. Had 12 rental properties still producing cash flow, 3 more flips in progress, and enough liquid capital to live comfortably forever. But more importantly, I knew things about their finances they thought I'd never figured out. Marcus's successful finance career? Complete illusion. He's drowning in debt from crypto investments gone wrong, behind on car payments, maxed out credit cards, the works. Only reason they stay afloat is my parents have been secretly lending them money for 8 months. Madison's influencer income? Maybe $600 a month promoting random products to her fake followers. The rest of their lifestyle comes from family handouts and credit cards. My parents? Dad's accounting firm is dying. Mom hasn't sold a policy in months, and they're about 6 months from losing their house. But they're too proud to admit the golden children they've been supporting are bleeding them dry. The same house where I'd been doing free maintenance, handling their finances, fixing everything that broke because Adam's good with practical stuff. Time to show them exactly how practical I could be. Chapter 1. Information Gathering. Christmas Eve arrives and I show up with expensive appetizers and my usual quiet demeanor. Same clothes as always. Khakis, polo shirt, nothing flashy. Let them keep thinking I'm struggling with my little house projects. The guest list is their typical crowd of suburban social climbers trying to out-impress each other. Madison's holding court by the fireplace, showing off her new designer purse that my parents definitely financed, while Marcus explains his investment strategies to anyone unfortunate enough to listen. I'm helping Dad set up chairs when Marcus starts his performance. Yeah, I just moved another $20,000 into this emerging market fund, he announces to the room. You've got to think long-term, build generational wealth, you know. Madison giggles and touches his arm. Marcus is always thinking ahead. That's why he's so successful. I nearly choked on my water. This guy hasn't made a profitable investment in 2 years. But I play along perfectly. Ask questions, act impressed, let him explain basic financial concepts like I'm clueless. The whole time I'm thinking about the folder on my computer with screenshots of his accounts that he carelessly left logged in on my parents' laptop last month. Here's what Marcus didn't realize. When you ask me to help fix the computer and leave your financial accounts open, I see everything. His portfolio is down 73% from peak. Credit card debt across 7 cards totaling $52,000. 3 months behind on his BMW lease. 2 months behind on rent. But he's standing there acting like Warren Buffett. Around 9 p.m., Madison corners me in Dad's office. She's had enough sparkling cider to get nasty. So Adam, still playing with your little fixer-upper houses? Just working, I reply. She rolls her eyes dramatically. When are you going to get serious about life? Marcus and I are looking at houses in Cherry Creek. Real estate's actually a good investment when you do it right, you know? Maybe you should think bigger than rundown rentals. I nod like she's sharing profound wisdom. Cherry Creek's pretty expensive though, right? Not when you're actually successful, she snaps. Some people plan for the future instead of living in delusion. Rich words from someone whose biggest life decision was choosing Instagram filters. Speaking of planning, I say casually, how's Marcus's portfolio performing? He seems really confident about his strategy. Her face lights up like Christmas morning. Amazing. He's basically a genius with investments. Made so much money this year, it's insane. I just smile and nod. Poor girl has no clue her husband's about to lose everything. The party ends around 11 p.m. I help clean up, say my polite goodbyes, drive home. But instead of sleeping, I spend the next 6 hours doing deep research. I wasn't just planning to embarrass them. I was planning to systematically dismantle their entire fake lifestyle. And I had the tools to do it. First, Marcus's social media. This guy posts everything. Pictures of expensive restaurants, screenshots of winning investments that are completely fabricated, photos inside houses they're considering but could never afford. Every post was evidence of financial fraud waiting to happen. Second, Madison's business. I analyzed her Instagram engagement, her sponsorship contracts, her actual income reports. She's been lying to my parents about her earnings, claiming $4,000 monthly when she's making maybe $400. The rest of their lifestyle comes from family money. Third, the big discovery. Dad's business records. He'd asked me to organize his computer files last year, giving me access to everything. Revenue down 45%, 5 major clients lost, new business practically non-existent. He's been hiding the failure from Mom, but the firm is essentially bankrupt. But here's the beautiful part. I also found something that made me smile in a way that would have scared small children. Dad had a life insurance policy worth $750,000. Guess who was the primary beneficiary until 2 months ago? Me. Guess who it got changed to? Madison. That's when I knew this wasn't just about holiday disrespect. They'd been planning to cut me out completely, probably figuring I'd never amount to anything worthwhile. Time to show them what a costly mistake looks like. Chapter 2. Setting the trap. January arrives and I begin phase 1 of my plan. I create a fake social media profile, generic finance enthusiast aesthetic, stock photos of success, motivational quotes about building wealth and financial freedom. Nothing flashy, just credible enough to catch Marcus's attention. I start engaging with his posts, asking for advice, treating him like a financial guru. Within days, he's messaging me privately, offering to mentor me on investment strategies. This is crucial context. Marcus desperately needs to feel superior to everyone. He's not actually successful, but he needs people to believe he is. When some stranger starts treating him like an expert, he absolutely loves it. You seem like someone who gets it, he messages me. Most people don't understand the mindset required for real wealth building. I play the eager student perfectly. Ask about his strategies, his biggest wins, how he got started. He eats it up completely. Within 2 weeks, he's pitching me on an exclusive opportunity he's developing. Some new cryptocurrency project that's going to revolutionize digital finance. He's putting together a group of serious investors. And would I be interested in contributing $30,000 to get started? Perfect. I knew Marcus was running side hustles to cover his debts. Guy's desperate, over-leveraged, and too proud to get honest work. So he's essentially running small-time investment scams on people naive enough to trust him. I tell him I'm very interested but need to see proof of concept first. Could he show me his personal portfolio performance? Walk me through some winning trades? He sends screenshots showing massive gains that never happened. Obviously fake, and I can verify this by cross-referencing the images, checking metadata, tracing sources. This isn't just fraud, it's embarrassingly obvious fraud. Meanwhile, I start building a relationship with Madison. Reach out casually, ask about her brand, suggest grabbing coffee to discuss business opportunities. Madison, being Madison, assumes I want to give her money. She agrees immediately. We meet at an overpriced cafe in downtown Denver. She arrives 20 minutes late, orders the most expensive drink available, and immediately starts pitching her consulting services. I could totally help you build your image, she says. You're in real estate, right? I know exactly how to position that. Property investors are really trendy right now. I nod along while she explains her strategy for growing my personal brand. Complete nonsense, obviously, but I let her talk while recording everything. Then I drop the hook. This sounds incredible, Madison. What kind of investment are we talking about? If I wanted to go all in on building my profile, her eyes light up like jackpot symbols. Well, for someone serious about really building something major, I'd recommend starting with $40,000. That covers content creation, professional photography, sponsored partnerships, the complete package. $40,000 for Instagram posts from someone with fake followers and zero business sense. That seems very reasonable, I say. Let me consider it. She's practically vibrating with excitement, probably already spending the money mentally, but I'm not planning to give her anything. I'm just documenting their scams, their fake lifestyle, their desperate money grabs. Because in 2 weeks, I'm going to systematically destroy their entire world. The third component involves my parents. I start visiting more frequently, helping with computer issues, being the dutiful son. Really, I'm installing monitoring software, email trackers, financial programs giving me real-time access to their accounts. Some might think this crosses lines, but remember, these people removed me from a $750,000 life insurance policy while I was still helping pay their bills. They made their choice. Dad starts discussing family financial planning with me. Wants to know if I'd be interested in more responsibility as they age. Of course, Dad, I say. Family comes first. The irony could cut glass. By the end of January, I have everything needed. Marcus's fraud evidence, Madison's scam attempts, my parents' real financial situation, and most importantly, their complete trust that I'm still the harmless disappointment they can manipulate. Time for Phase 2. Chapter 3. The Execution. February 14th, Valentine's Day. Perfect timing for what I had planned. I wake up and transfer $3.2 million from my real estate sale into a new investment account. Not because I need to, but because I want them to see exactly how much money their failure son actually controls. Then I call my attorney, the expensive one I hired after the property sale. We have extensive business to discuss. I need several documents prepared, I tell him. Fraud reports, cease and desist orders, and documentation for civil lawsuits. What type of fraud are we discussing? I send him my evidence folder. Marcus's fabricated trading screenshots, Madison's inflated income claims, copies of loan applications where they lied about finances, everything. This is quite comprehensive, he says after reviewing. Are you certain you want to proceed? These are family relationships. Not anymore. At 2 p.m., Marcus receives his first surprise. Cease and desist letter delivered by courier, plus formal notification that he's being reported to financial regulators for investment fraud and securities violations. The evidence package includes screenshots of him soliciting investments for non-existent opportunities, falsified portfolio statements, and records showing he's taken money from at least 8 people for investment programs that never existed. Beautiful detail. He's been using my parents' address for business correspondence. When investigations begin, they'll involve the family house, mailbox, financial records, everything. Madison gets her package at 3 p.m. Notification of IRS reporting for tax fraud and unreported income. Turns out she's been claiming extensive business expenses for her consulting career while earning basically nothing. Fake business trips, expensive equipment purchases that never happened, Professional services she never used. Also included. Detailed breakdown of every lie she's told my parents about her income, with bank records showing reality. At 4 p.m., my parents received their surprise. Formal notice that homeowners insurance is being canceled due to undisclosed business activities conducted from the residence. When Marcus used their address for his investment scheme, he technically converted their house into a business location. Residential insurance doesn't cover that. Since they can't afford commercial coverage, they're about to become uninsured homeowners with an outstanding mortgage. At 5 p.m., I send a comprehensive email to Madison's entire contact list, everyone she's ever pitched her consulting services to. Subject line, the truth about Madison's business. The email contains screenshots of her real social media analytics, essentially zero genuine engagement, actual income statements, nearly nothing, and evidence of fake followers and artificial interactions to inflate her numbers. I also send it to Marcus's clients, co-workers, and their entire social circle. By 6 p.m., both phones are exploding. Clients demanding refunds, friends asking what's happening, family members who just learned they've been deceived for months. Madison calls first, screaming and crying. Adam, what did you do? Just shared some public records, I say calmly. Is there a problem? You ruined everything. Marcus's boss is calling. The IRS wants information. I'm getting messages from everyone. Sounds stressful. Maybe you should have considered consequences before calling me a loser who doesn't matter. She hangs up. Marcus calls next, trying to sound intimidating. You have no idea what you've done, you little punk. I'll sue you for everything you have. I laugh. With what money, Marcus? Your credit cards are maxed and you haven't made a profitable trade in 2 years. But please get a lawyer. I'm sure they'll work for free. He starts yelling, making threats, acting tough until I drop the nuclear option. Oh, and Marcus? I know about your side business. Silence. What are you talking about? The prescription medication you've been selling to cover your losses. Did you think I wouldn't notice when you left your messaging apps open on my parents' computer? $4,000 worth last month alone. That's federal trafficking charges. He hangs up immediately. I'd been monitoring their communications for weeks. Marcus wasn't just bad with money. He was dealing prescription pills to pay rent. Small-time operation, but still federal-level distribution. I didn't report that to authorities yet. That was my insurance policy. My parents call around 8 p.m. Dad sounds panicked. Adam, what's happening? Government agencies are calling. Our insurance is canceled. Marcus and Madison are talking about investigations. Sounds like they're having legal troubles, I say. Might want to distance yourselves from that situation. Distance ourselves? They're family. Are they, Dad? Because family doesn't get removed from life insurance policies while they're still helping pay bills. Long silence. You knew about that? I know about many things. Chapter 4. The Reckoning. The next 48 hours were complete chaos. Marcus got suspended from his job pending internal investigation of his investment activities. Offering fake trading advice to coworkers violates several compliance regulations. Who would have thought? Madison's Instagram account got reported for fraudulent engagement and suspended. Her sponsorship deals, all 2 of them, got canceled when companies realized they'd been paying for artificial followers. My parents got visited by an IRS investigator asking about business activities conducted from their address. They had no idea what he meant, making them look either complicit or incompetent. Marcus received a call from federal agents asking about his pharmaceutical distribution business. I may have anonymously provided them some information about his side operation. By Friday, my phone was ringing constantly. Madison crying, begging me to fix this somehow. Marcus offering to repay money he never borrowed if I'd make the investigations disappear. My parents demanding I come for a family meeting. I ignored them all and went about my normal routine. Saturday morning, I get a text that changes everything. Dad, Adam, we need to talk. Madison's in the hospital. Apparently, Princess Madison had a complete breakdown. Panic attack so severe they called an ambulance. She'd been sedated and placed under observation after making threats about ending her life over the public humiliation. For a moment, I actually felt bad. Maybe I'd gone too far. Then I remembered her laughing about how I'd lose my inheritance on stupid investments, and the feeling passed. I drive to the hospital anyway. Family meeting in the waiting area. Dad, Mom, and me in uncomfortable chairs, while Madison gets treated for her anxiety attack. This has to stop, Mom says. She's been crying. I don't know what they did to upset you, but this is destroying everyone. What they did to me? I laugh. How about treating me like hired help for 10 years while publicly mocking everything about my life? Dad leans forward. We made mistakes, okay? But Adam, this is excessive. The investigations, the public humiliation. Madison's career is finished. What career? She made $7,200 last year, pretending to be a business consultant while you paid her rent. That's not the point. That's exactly the point. I stand up. You people have been living in fantasy land where Marcus is a successful trader and Madison is a business owner, and I'm just the disappointment who fixes things. I simply showed everyone reality. Mom grabs my arm. Please, Adam. Whatever you want. Whatever we need to do to fix this, just tell us. Madison can't handle more stress. I look at both of them. Really study them. Dad's aged years and days. Mom's makeup can't hide the exhaustion. They're broken. And I realize I'm not finished yet. You want to fix this? I sit back down. Here's how it works. First, Marcus pays back every penny he stole from his investment victims. All of it. With interest. He doesn't have that kind of money. Then he gets honest work and creates a payment plan. Second, Madison publicly apologizes for defrauding her clients and repays everyone who hired her for services she never delivered. Adam, that's reasonable, Dad says quickly. We can make that happen. I'm not finished. I lean back. Third, you're selling the house. They both stare. You're broke, I continue. Have been for months. Dad's business is failing. Mom hasn't made a sale in forever. And you've been financing Madison and Marcus with money you don't have. Time for reality. Where would we live? Mom whispers. I don't particularly care. But here's what I find interesting. You changed the life insurance beneficiary from me to Madison 2 months ago. Why? Dad's face reddens. We thought she'd need it more. You seemed like you were managing fine independently. I am managing fine. Better than fine, actually. I pull out my phone and show them my bank balance. The number is so large they both blink repeatedly. How do you have $8 million? Mom gasps. Real estate investment company bought my portfolio. I'm also running a property management business that's already worth more than Dad made in his entire career. Your disappointment son is a multimillionaire. They stare at the screen in complete shock. So here's what happens next, I continue. You change the beneficiary back to me. Not because I need the money, but because Madison doesn't deserve it. Then you sell the house, pay your debts, and learn to live within actual means. And if we refuse? Dad asks. I smile. Then Marcus goes to prison for drug trafficking. Madison gets charged with tax evasion, and you both lose the house anyway when the IRS seizes it. Silence stretches for 30 seconds. Fine, Dad says quietly. We'll do it. I stand to leave. Adam, Mom calls. Will you ever forgive us? I turn around one final time. Ask me again when you've learned the difference between family and free labor. Chapter 5. The Aftermath and Final Confrontation. 2 months later, their fake empire had crumbled completely. Marcus got fired from his finance job and took work at a used car lot making $32,000 annually. Turns out SEC investigations make you unemployable in legitimate finance. He had to move back with his parents and surrender the BMW drug charges got dropped after he provided information about his supplier. But he's still facing federal fraud charges. His attorney thinks he'll get probation and community service if he pays full restitution. Madison's consulting career died entirely. She tried starting new social media accounts, but the internet has a long memory. Every platform banned her for fake engagement within days. She's now working retail at a department store, living with our aunt because she can't afford her own place. My parents sold their house and moved into a small apartment. Dad finally admitted his accounting firm was bankrupt and took a position with a large firm. Mom's working reception at an insurance office. Their combined income is roughly half what they used to pretend to make. Meanwhile, I'm thriving like never before. My property management company signed a $12 million development contract last month. I bought a house in the mountains, twice the size of my parents' former place, with views that cost more than Marcus's annual salary. I drive a Tesla because I can, and because it's silent when I arrive at family gatherings. Which brings me to last week's event. Madison had been trying to contact me for months. Messages through relatives showing up at my office. Security escorts her out, basically stalking me because she desperately needs something. Finally, our cousin Andrea convinced me to meet them for dinner. Just give them a chance to apologize properly, she said. So I agreed. Selected an expensive steakhouse downtown, the kind of place they used to take me when they wanted to show off, except now I'm paying and they know it. I arrive in a custom suit looking like the successful businessman I've become. They're waiting in the corner booth looking like they've been through a tornado. Marcus is wearing a discount store shirt and looks like he's lost significant weight from stress. Madison's makeup can't hide the exhaustion, and she's dressed like she's interviewing for entry-level positions. My parents just look defeated. I sit down and order an expensive meal without checking prices. Thanks for coming, Dad says carefully. We know you didn't have to. No, I didn't. I don't offer them any pleasantries. What do you want? Madison speaks first, her voice shaky and nothing like the confident person who used to mock me. Adam, I'm sorry. I'm really, truly sorry about everything I said. I was completely wrong about you, and I treated you terribly. And I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm asking anyway. I don't react. Just take a bite and wait. Marcus clears his throat. I owe you an apology too, man. I was completely out of line, and I said things that were wrong. You had every right to be angry. Angry? I laugh. I wasn't angry, Marcus. I was strategic. He flinches visibly. Mom reaches toward me, then pulls back. We all made terrible mistakes. We took you for granted, we treated you unfairly, and we're genuinely sorry. We want to make this right. I lean back. How exactly? They exchange glances like they've rehearsed this. We know we can't undo what we did, Dad says. But we're family, and we want to rebuild that relationship. Maybe we could start fresh? Start fresh, I repeat. What would that look like? Madison jumps in eagerly. We could spend time together, include you in decisions, treat you with the respect you always deserved. I asked the respect I deserved. I smile. What do you think I deserve, Madison? She stumbles over words. I don't know. Whatever you want. We just want you back in our lives. That's when I decide to end this charade. What I want is for you to be honest about why you're really here. They all freeze. This isn't about apologies or family relationships. You're here because you're broke, desperate, and hoping I'll bail you out. Again, Dad's face goes red. That's not. Dad owes $67,000 in back taxes and is behind on apartment rent. Mom's car got repossessed. Marcus faces $180,000 in restitution he can't afford. Madison needs $12,000 for legal representation because the IRS is garnishing her wages. Their faces go pale as I recite their problems like a shopping list. Want to know how I know this? Because I still monitor the financial systems I set up. Because you never changed passwords. Because you're all still naive enough to think I'm the same harmless person you can manipulate. The silence is deafening. So let's skip the fake apologies and discuss the real issue. How much money do you need? The look on their faces was priceless. Like I'd stripped them naked in public. Madison starts crying first. Adam, please. I know we messed up, but I'm drowning. The IRS is taking half my paycheck. I can barely buy food. And my attorney says without representation, I could face jail time. Maybe you should have considered that before committing tax evasion. Marcus tries being tough one more time. Look, I understand you're upset. I'm not upset anymore, Marcus. I'm entertained. This is the most fun I've had in years. Dad leans forward desperately. Adam, what do you want us to say? We're sorry. We were wrong. We treated you badly. We know that. But we're still family. No, we're not. I look at each of them. Family doesn't remove their son from inheritance policies while he's paying their bills. Family doesn't mock their brother's career while living off parents' money. Family doesn't call their child a loser who doesn't matter. Mom is crying now. We never meant. Yes, you did. I pull out my phone and play an audio recording from Christmas Eve when they thought I was outside. Madison's voice comes through clearly. At least when Mom and Dad die, we won't have to split anything with Adam. He'll probably lose his share on some stupid investment anyway. Then Mom's laughter. I stop the recording. You meant every single word. Dead silence except for Mom's crying. But you know what? I'm feeling generous tonight. I signal for another course. I'm going to make you all an offer. One-time deal to solve all your problems. They lean forward like starving animals. I'll pay off all debts. Dad's taxes, Mom's car, Marcus's restitution, Madison's legal fees. Everything. Clean slate. Hope fills their eyes. In exchange, you sign legal documents waiving any claim to inheritance, family assets, anything with my name attached. Forever. You also sign agreements never to discuss my financial situation with anyone. That's reasonable, Dad says quickly. We can do that. I'm not finished. I smile. You also publicly acknowledge what you did. Marcus admits to investment fraud and apologizes to everyone he scammed. Madison admits to faking her business success and apologizes to everyone she deceived. Mom and Dad admit they enabled both while treating their other son terribly. Public how? Madison asks nervously. Social media posts, local newspaper, letters to everyone in your social circle. Complete confession and apology. Marcus goes white. That would destroy us socially. No one would ever. No one respects you now, I interrupt. At least this way you'd have integrity for once. Silence while they consider it. If we do this, Mom asks quietly, would you want a relationship with us again? I actually laugh out loud. You want me to pay hundreds of thousands to clean up your disasters, publicly humiliate myself by association, then pretend we're a happy family? We're trying to make things right, Dad snaps. No, you're trying to make things convenient. For you. I stand and place money on the table. The offer stands for 48 hours, complete confession, and permanent legal separation from my life, or figure out your problems the same way I figured out mine, alone. Madison grabs my arm as I'm leaving. Adam, please, I'm begging you. I know I don't deserve help, but I'm desperate. I'll do anything. I look down at her hand, then into her eyes. For a brief moment, I see something that might be genuine remorse instead of just desperation. Anything? I ask. She nods frantically. Then learn to live with consequences of treating people terribly. I remove her hand. Maybe next time you'll think twice before calling someone a loser who doesn't matter. I walk out and drive to my beautiful house with my incredible view, leaving them with a dinner check they probably can't afford. 2 days later, I receive 4 emails. Legal documents signed and notarized. Public apologies posted across social media. Complete confessions and detailed explanations of how they treated me. I transfer the money that afternoon. $284,000 total. Enough to solve their immediate problems and give them an undeserved fresh start. But here's the beautiful part. I don't feel generous. I feel like I just paid $284,000 to never deal with their drama again. Best money I've ever spent. My attorney calls to confirm all documents are legally binding. Congratulations, he says. You're officially free of them forever. I sit by my pool watching sunset over the mountains. My phone buzzes with a text from Madison. Thank you, Adam. I know I don't deserve it, but thank you. I delete it without responding. 6 months later, I hear through Andrea that they're doing better. Marcus is making steady victim payments and hasn't been arrested. Madison's working full-time and living within her means for the first time ever. My parents are adjusting to middle-class reality, but they're stable. Good for them. I'm doing better than better. My company just got valued at $45 million. I'm dating a brilliant architect who finds my family drama hilarious. I bought a cabin where I go to plan developments in peace. Sometimes people ask if I regret being so harsh, if I think I went too far. I tell them about Christmas dinner, where Madison called me a loser who didn't matter. About years of being treated like unpaid maintenance while they praised their golden child. About being removed from inheritance policies while still paying their bills. Then I show them a picture of my house. Revenge isn't about hurting people, I explain. It's about showing them exactly who they chose not to respect. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, it pays for itself with interest.